structure there, which is something I don't think it should be that difficult. And I'm going to explain why I don't think it's that difficult. Because do you know where you find your talents? Where are you looking for? What are your challenges within your marketing? Any thoughts on anything you'd like to share before I pick up? So you all are experts in finding your talent. You don't have any difficulties. Awesome. Good kickoff. So the reason I'm here, I met Renee about, I think, 9 or 10 months ago. We had a decent lunch at his office, which was really fun because I just went in there and we had a really good conversation. I have a technical background as a software developer, project manager kind of thing. And I've been working in the digital marketing industry for about 10 years now. So I kind of have the same vision as Renee has in a different industry. But still, I think there's a lot that you guys could learn from what we do in our digital worlds. So I work at GreenOrange, which is a digital agency for business performance, which doesn't really mean that we have one specific industry that we're looking at. We're working in so many different industries, from ad tech to recruitment to EVs and consumers of this world. And we have a strong belief. Basically, we have a religion. We think data is not rocket science. It's the basis of anything you should do or could do in your industry. So, before I start explaining how I all mean this, because I know it sounds a bit abstract, I'd like to take you through some trends that I've discovered while preparing this presentation. Because it seems that organizations say that these are the most important platforms to read technology in this, to read talents in this specific era. Do you all agree? Is this the same thing that you are seeing within your companies where you find your talent? Is anything missing? Indeed. Well, yeah. That's funny you say that, because that's really not in these statistics. I've been looking for it, but nobody seems to have a decent number on it. Funny thing is, if this is where you say you find your talent, why do you spend money on other platforms and other agencies? It's not aligned, it doesn't make sense. So if these are the user statistics of internet in general, and of social media use, and of mobile internet use, it seems that we're kind of missing the point of using this, of utilizing this digital landscape that's there for the taking. It's not that difficult. It seems that 63% of all recruiters say that they're not really busy with using tech, with using marketing, with using anything that is a digital thing, which makes sense because your job is on the human side. So it's not about having a complete digital structure there and, well, sit back and relax. You guys are still very important. And I'll show you later on why that is. Some fun stats that I just wanted to add is some of the HR teams that I've asked actually say they are very, very happy with working online and they reach talents 2 times faster. The thing that we've learned in our industry is that you only have 7 seconds to grab someone's attention, so you better make it worth it. 65% of recruiters are working on a candidate journey strategy, which is good. But it's not there yet, so there's still something to do there. And 89% of job seekers say their mobile device is an important tool for job hunting. So there's a lot going on in terms of trends, in terms of numbers, which I think we all should embrace. So one little one on millennials, because I'm a hardcore millennial myself. We seem to be this generation who wants to contribute to all kinds of things, but we have no idea where we want to contribute to. But we're not that looking for jobs on social media. So we're more of job boards, as Indeed, as you mentioned just now, or on company sites. Your average Werkenbijk, you probably all have one. I don't know how to pronounce it in English though.
Career side.
Sorry again?
Career side.
So I learned something today too. As mentioned, I'm not in recruitment. So if these are all statistics, how do we reach those millennials or those Gen Zs who are all tech savvy and they all want to grow and mean something in this world? How do you stand out within the crowd? It starts with assessing your pains, basically. We all share the same pains. It doesn't really matter which industry you're in. We all want talent, especially we, because we are all within the technical domain. So, well, talking about the war on talent over there, we all want to have something that's worth the money. And we all want to know where are we spending the money at. And it all comes down to employer branding, basically. So, the topic that Renee and his team and Nadia gave me is how to improve your candidate journey by utilizing the changing online landscape. And this is basically where the bridge between marketing, as Hang already mentioned in his speech as well, is made. Because it's all about the candidate journey. You all have seen this before, probably, especially that's also schijt. I'm not a native English speaker, so sometimes I might be lost for words. The pre-apply and the post-apply, it differs a lot. The candidate journey and the customer journey, from my world, are basically the same. If you ever noticed this, you're right today. Come on, people. Because if you lay them on top of each other, a candidate journey does the exact same thing as a consumer journey does. We all want to attract someone, and we want to convert them. In my world, we convert them to sales. In your world, we convert them to hires. It's not the methodology that's different. It's the input and the output that differs, basically. So, to give you a good example, this is your average customer journey, and we basically have 4 phases within it. It's orientation, comparison, decision, and evaluation. If you look at a candidate journey, it's basically the same. You have one more phase, which is a hire. But it works exactly the same. It starts with awareness. People consider you as a brand or a company to work for, or me as a brand or a company to buy something from. We engage with each other, and we all work through the same conversion, which is in your case a hire, or not. And all of it is data, basically. Data is key in everything that we do, but I also believe it's key in everything that you should be doing. It's not scary, it's not something that's going to cost you your job. It's something that's going to make your job a lot easier. Have you ever seen a persona? Yeah, awesome, yay. Finally someone responded. So what we do in our world is we build personas because we want to sell something to someone. So we track if it's a male or a female, its age or her age. We track if they have a newsletter signing or an online purchase, how much they spent, and I could go on and on and on and on about parameters that we track. The same things, basically, what you could do in in smart recruitment, But instead of tracking online behavior for a consumer, you track the online behavior of a possible candidate. So you track the experience, their education, their ages, because it makes sense to know how old someone is. Because if you want to hire a senior person, someone that's 20 years old, 21 years old, is not a senior person. So it's important to know the age. And you also, in this case, want to know which skills do they have. Not only their hard skills, but also their soft skills is something that's very important to know. And this is not something that you start doing straight away with measuring a candidate journey. This is something that starts with your database. And it doesn't matter if you have an ATS or that you only have an Excel file. Let's assume that, because probably, well, who has an Excel file? Just like shame in that, don't worry. I've been to the most amazing companies who pretend to have so many great things. They don't, believe me. So it doesn't matter. As long as you have a decent database that tracks certain parameters, and an Excel sheet can be a database because you track if someone is born before or after 1990, and you track how many years of working experience they have. It's something that you can run data analysis on that builds personas for you. So a group of persons with the same shared experience, or in my world, interests, but that doesn't really matter. So you have a segment of technological people who can write a specific language, write this and this age, and you can go on and on and on until you have a complete database analyzed, basically. And these insights are important in your candidate journey, because it tells something about the person that you're trying to target and trying to hire, so you actually have a strategy of hiring someone instead of just advertise away. Once you have analyzed your segments, and now the fun stuff is coming, there's more that you can do to this. You could use it to actually write better job vacancy texts. You can write better ads, you can write better emails, because it says something about the person you're communicating with, although you haven't seen them ever before. So you can compose something which is based on data. If we track that someone might be a more introverted person instead of an extrovert person, it doesn't really make sense to throw them a culture in their face. They're not interested in it anyway. They just want to have a fun job and do what they're good at. If you have an extrovert person like me, I like it when people jump around them on the roofs or whatsoever. So it makes sense that you match the message that you're sending to the person you're expecting to hire for a certain job. It's half in Dutch, half in English. I do assume you all know this one day, right? Your assessment scan or your talent scan, whichever one you want to call it. It's a fun little asset to use to make what happens below with the data analytics visual. So if you have people, candidates coming in, and this one is your desired profile based on statistics, you just run them through, put them on top, and see if they match. If they don't match, don't bother hiring, because it's not a match. But if they kind of match, it might actually be interesting to talk to this person and see what else they got to say, and maybe they are a match. So it's all about the sourcing, as Hans said as well, because that's where your quick wins actually happen. So remember when I just told you about the introvert, extrovert things? I hope it looks good, because I've been photoshopping this myself and I suck at it, so it seems to be okay. But if you would be hiring me, you have to show me a video of the stuff, of the fun stuff that you're doing, because I know what you want me to do. It's nothing new there, I can do that easily. But I want to know the culture that I'm actually entering, the people that are working there, the people that I have to learn from, that I have to report to, and it says it more with a video ad or with someone telling something funny, for me, than it does when you have a pretty boring picture, which might work for someone who's more serious. Well, it's pretty boring, isn't it? No pun intended, though. But this is a very easy, straightforward example of what you could do once you kind of analyze your data and once you kind of know which kind of persons you have within your company. And I know you all know your colleagues, I know you all know your data, your clients or your candidates or whatsoever. But having something very hard and maybe boring and complex telling you you're on the right track, a data analyst or an AI or whatsoever, it actually brings you the funding to go further and see if you can actually manage to do more with it. Any questions in between, though? Does it still make sense? Cool, happy. So, another boring pitch, but I thought it was very interesting to put in there. Because if you are doing stuff within a candidate journey, you're measuring, you're tracking what's happening and what's going on everywhere, it makes sense to have a dashboard, right? Because you'll see the KPIs that you set, your pains. I need to hire 1,000 people next month, or I need to hire 10 very specific people. It gives you insights on what's going on. And using colors is something that's pretty easy, but if you see a red light going on somewhere, you'll know something is wrong. So it makes sense to have red colors, because it shows you what is going wrong and which basically button you should push to improve what's going on. And it's basically an endless loop. It keeps going, it keeps measuring, it keeps optimizing, and it shows you where you spend your money at. So when you have all this data stuff going on, you start analyzing, and you have the segment there, and you know your culture and who you are as a company, you still have this thing called employer branding that needs to happen. Thank you. And that's not only something that's happening on the outside, it's something that's happening on the inside as well. Because you want your employers to be your ambassadors. So it makes sense to not only do this outside, but also build it inside of your company. And be personal. And I'm going to explain to you in 2 slides why it's so important to be personal, which can be after you data analyst. And network, obviously, referrals, obviously. So if you're going to integrate stuff fully digitally, there are a lot of funny things or little things that you could do to make it already work better. Han already told a lot about the stuff that's going on within the technology domain. One of the most funniest things that's going on at the moment are chatbots. And I know there are a lot of examples of bots that go wrong, but if you use a static script, nothing will go wrong, believe me. There's no AI that actually is behind it. But a bot can actually already do a sourcing and a filtering for you. If you're hiring 10,000 people a year, you have a hell of a job. Let's be honest. I wouldn't want to stand in your shoes. If you use a bot as a first communication channel, you actually filter who's interesting and who's not. So who you should spend time on and who you shouldn't be spending any time on. And the same goes for emails. We have this little funny thing in marketing that's called email marketing. Use it. Because I just made a note, you want to be personal. You don't want to be blunt and give someone a really bullshitty email like you're not the one because blah, 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 blah. We all have them in the past, right? A really easy way to do is email marketing. Make it a little bit more personal. Because the one that's not interesting now at this specific moment in time might just be the one that's going to lift your company up within 2 years. So keep that in mind, be personal. Last point I'd like to make on integrating digital stuff, it's not only about advertising and spending money on advertising, but it should have to be. It has to make sense where you're advertising. If you're looking for programmers, don't advertise on Snapchat or Instagram. They don't care. Advertise on Twitch. If you're looking for I don't know, kindergarten teacher, advertise on YouTube and not on Twitch because she'll never be there. So think of where you're advertising and where you spend your money at and measure it. Feedback it back to what you're doing. Make it visible, make it transparent. So what I tried to tell you very shortly is define an employee strategy basically. Identify your pains and go attack them. Make them your KPIs. Be personal. And most importantly, within your industry, stay human. Because you're the ones who are actually hiring people. You can train to do this. There's not an AI in the world that can do this for you, so don't be afraid. You're not losing your job. You're very, very, very worthy in this. A little fun. This is PHP code, which basically means if you combine technology with human knowledge, it's a recipe for success. So, thanks, that was it.
Thank you so much, that was great.
You're welcome.
So, has anybody posing questions?
Oh, these are my back slides.
Back slides?
If you want to know where I got all of the info, it's in there.
Alright.
I actually had an intern in that one.
Okay. I don't have any interns, so good for you. So, let's look at the questions.
Oh, yeah. Huh?
How...
Can I do
Yeah,
the top
sure.
one? So, with respect to digital marketing, is there something you can learn from recruitment? Yes. Especially in my line of work, since I'm a techie by hand, I kind of, and Nadia can actually say it's true, I kind of sometimes forget the human part of life. So, yeah, we can, because you guys rock in humanization.
Mm-hmm.
You interview people, you have a feeling, you have a gut feeling, you don't. And I don't have that much.
Right.
So I should come and work.
So do you have any example of how you're trying to apply that, or with your customers, how they do
Well,
that?
Nadia, her first feedback on my slides actually was, so where's the human part of it?
Right.
Yeah, you have a point there. So yeah, I could definitely learn something over there. And I think my marketing colleagues are actually very good at it, but in a technology kind of environment, you
Right.
tend to lose yourself with the stuff that's going on in there. So yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next question.
Yeah.
How have you seen the use of data applied practically that made the biggest difference in an organization?
Well, I can tell you something about a case that we're working on a client that we're working on right now. It's Topicus, maybe some of you know it. It's a huge technical company with like 1,000 developers over there, and we actually do what I've just told you and stuff that I showed is actually stuff that we built for them. And I think they're way ahead a very tech company, so it makes sense that they're easily adapting the technology and the marketing behind it all. But it's working because they need so many developers, and especially technical, it's very difficult to find good ones.
Right.
So we're doing everything I told you just now. I'm not making it up in there. And it's, yeah.
Okay.
Going great.
Good. Well, looking forward to see the case study.
Yeah.
Will email still be relevant with the growth of instant messaging?
Oh, good question. Is there any instant messaging that I can plug into my database, or does the same thing?
I think so.
Which one?
Well, like a bot always operates on an instant messenger, right? Basically, if you can create, I think you can now tap into the APIs of Facebook, WhatsApp more and more.
Although I wouldn't advise to have stuff that is, especially when you're in recruitment and you have to turn someone down, which is a bummer for the person who receives the message. It's kind of harsh if there's a bug, because people know it's a bug, right? So, hi, I'm a robot and I'm telling you no. It's not really personal.
Right.
I'd rather advise to use email marketing, but who knows in 5 years what's normal.
Does anybody think they will not send any emails in 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope not, because that would be a really cool innovation.
We'll evaluate in 10 years.
We all love it.
Right.
Probably be old by then, no?
I think it will be, but I think 10 years ago we probably said the same thing. And usually you see that more things exist next to each other.
Yeah.
So when and how often do you create/work with personas? That's a lot of options in that one question, Edwin. Nice one.
It's just one answer. With the company I work, always. With every customer we work, and it doesn't matter if it's a BP or a Siemens or a Topicus, whatever client we work for, it's always based on data. And it basically already answers the question below.
Right.
No, it's not that expensive. I just told you it's not rocket science, it's just science. It deliver you value, and if you get value for your money, nothing really is expensive.
Right. Yeah, well, I think in recruitment we tend to be a bit too focused on cost and too little on business impact.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's good. I think we should focus way more on the business impact and not care so much about the cost. As long as the cost is small relative to the business impact, it should be fine. Right?
As long as it's a business critical process.
Right. Of course. I think it says it's all true for generic jobs, but big data will bring you candidates, but not the right candidates if you aim to recruit top players. So basically we're questioning, if you use data, can you then actually identify the top players, or will you miss them?
Do you have top players in your company?
Well, I have my whole team here, so if I say no, I have a problem.
It starts with analyzing your own
so.
database. If you are convinced that if you have top players within your company, there's a lot to learn from the stuff that's going on there, which you could use. And I'm not saying that, especially when you want really top players, it's going to be more difficult because they're not really into any more money or whatsoever. They just want a really, really interesting job.
Yeah.
So it's not so much about what data can you do for you in that term, I think. It's more about what you can offer them as a company.
Right.
And they're not that many of it, so maybe it's not even that interesting to offer to you.
The last question, I think it revolves, so let's make it a bit more practical. So if your data is not big enough, if you don't know yet from your own data set what you should be doing, how would you go about that? So let's say you need to hire a person, you don't know yet anything about the target audience.
So you do know the requirements for the job? You know if you want to have a senior or media and people, you know which education, these are basically parameters. So even if you don't have a data set, this is stuff that you could use on LinkedIn, for example, which is pretty easy to create target audiences over there. To create a more specific target audience and start learning from there, instead of just shooting with hail, as we say in Dutch. So think it through, make a little bit more sense to what you're doing instead of just doing it and waiting what happens. Yeah.
All right. I think with that we've answered all questions. Can I get one more applause? All right, so we're now going to have a half an hour break.